Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffy Kennedy, author of fantasy romance and romantic fantasy. I'm here with my first cup of coffee, which is, as it sometimes is, a lie because I already had one latte so far today. But that doesn't mean I can afford to spill the second one down my cleavage. Today is Tuesday, July 15th, the Ides of June, um, and it's been an unusual morning here at Shea Kennedy. Um, I keep thinking that I should turn so that you guys have a prettier view of what's behind me, um, or like of the garden and stuff. But then I wouldn't be able to see it. It's like, who should I be favoring here? My viewers or myself? And clearly, I choose myself. I sort of changed the angle a little bit because it's later here. The sun's coming in. It's almost 9:30. So I think you guys knew that my folks were here last week on their way up to Colorado, where they were staying in a VRBO. And when they got up there, they'd only been there about a day when my stepdad Dave, discovered that he had a terrible infection from a recent surgery and ended up being hospitalized for 3 nights. Poor man. He also has congestive heart failure, which is a chronic condition. It's been ongoing. And generally he does fine, but the change in altitude exacerbated it, along with the stress of travel and then this infection. So he was released from the hospital yesterday, and they took him home to their VRBO, which we're all talking about this, like, since they're putting the ads on YouTube, like they want us to say Verbo, because apparently that sounds hipper. And we've all decided that we're not saying Verbo. It is not going to be Verbo. I will never say. Well, now I've said it like 10 times in a row, but this will be the last time. I won't say Verbo and I won't say GIF. So, cheers. They can't make us. I think that these companies. Somebody was talking about another one that was a similar, where somebody had rebranded, like a bank had rebranded or something. I hadn't seen this one, but it was all part of this same conversation. And we think that it's because they're doing this to, like, appeal to Gen Z who, sound hipper or something like that. It's like, oh, marketing people, no, just stop. My folks are in a VRBO, and they got back last night, and my mom was just having a really hard time. And she was worried that this had been a terrible idea. They left home a week ago, and they have had a zero fun. It's just all been stress and strain, and so I had said to her, I'm in kind of a tohi battle over here. Um, that I said, well, I can come get you, and I could help you drive home if you want to go back to Tucson. And she said, how would that work? And I said, well, I could fly up there and help you drive back to Santa Fe, or um, and drive you back to Tucson and then take the plane home. And then the way it was developing last night, I said, I think I just should come up there. And David said he'd go with me, and that way we'd have two cars, and we could at least help them get situated. And if they wanted to leave, we could bring them back to Santa Fe and then take them to Tucson. So we were all packed up and ready to go this morning. Um, in fact, we were putting the final things in the trunk. The house was closed up, everything was done. And I texted with my mom several times, and I kept thinking that she might say that she changed her mind. But no, she was like sounding relieved and happy that we were coming. So there we were, putting stuff in the car, and my mom texted, "Stop the presses." Very dramatic. And she said that stepdad Dave was up and he was tons better today, feeling good, feeling spunky, and that she thought we didn't need to come. So, So now I got my day of work back, which is good. But I was like an hour behind schedule. So I just texted Dorinda and said, I'm an hour behind. Long story. I will tell it to you. And then had to like send all of my texts to people that I'd like canceled things and changed plans on and so forth, saying, never mind. And so then David and I walked over to the coffee shop and got a latte and a donut in celebration. Felt good to take the soothing walk. So that's where we stand. Uh, we'll hold it in reserve that if they want to leave earlier than what they have planned. And since I know my mother listens to this, we have not yet discussed this, but I'd been thinking about proposing that for their trip back anyway, because I think that the drive was pretty hard on them. So, either they can drive back to Santa Fe and then I will drive them the rest of the way to Tucson and fly home, or uh, I can fly up there and get them and drive them to Santa Fe and then on to Tucson. So, so yeah, all's well that ends well, right? Uh, my grapevine has not leafed out as much this year, and I'm not sure if that's a water thing or what. They keep saying that we're maybe going to have a robust monsoon season, so we're crossing fingers hard for a robust monsoon season. But I might do some deep watering of the grapevines this morning since I'm here. And we've got the sunshine coming in behind me. Ah, can hear the angels singing. I did make good progress on Bright Familiar yesterday. Um, it's going to be tight for finishing, but that's the thing about we talk about like when you get knocked off your pillow, right? I was going to try to work in the car on it and do what I could where I could, and if worse came to worse, I would push back the release date. I don't know if you guys need that much angelic splendor behind me there. So it's like sometimes there are family emergencies, and that was important, and so that's you know sometimes you just have to. I know I am to the point of being rigid about my writing schedule. Actually, some of the Southwest staff gals, we were talking about my schedule for coming in as president and communication and all of that kind of thing. And one of them asked, we were just talking about that I was trying to get this book done and everything. And they were asking how many books I write. Uh, and one of them asked me, she said, do you jealously guard your writing time? And I said, yes. I said, that's exactly what I do. I jealously guard my writing time. But there comes a point at which you have to, um, you know, whatever. I always picture it as like a castle with a moat and the guard dragon and so forth. And every once in a while, you have to tell the dragon to stand down and say, "Okay, this thing's more important." So I may just do a shortish broadcast today, because I'm not sure I have much else in my head between book brain and family stuff. I uh, I don't think I have a lot of thoughts about anything. Well, I do have one thing. I saw a gal who's in one of my groups with a self published book, and she was saying that she keeps getting messaged by this reviewer in India wanting her to pay for reviews and saying, how many of their family and friends have died of COVID and they're desperate for money and blah, blah, blah. Please, you know, and I've mentioned this before. I believe I've certainly blogged about it. How many scavengers there are out there especially when you release a new book. They message me on Instagram. They just come out of the woodwork, And she was she said that she had told this person that she wasn't interested, and the person kept messaging her. So, and I haven't replied, and I will. I'll pop in there and reply. But, the key is not to reply. Ignore, block and ignore, and do not feel bad about it, because there are other ways to help the people in India who are suffering from COVID. You do not have to succumb to the importunings of an anonymous voice through the internet. Know what I'm saying? Because that could be, you don't know. You don't know where they are, right? You can be a dog on the internet. On the internet, no one knows you're a dog, right? So that could be a prisoner at San Quentin running, a new scam. That they are going to say exactly the things that will make you want to help them, because that's the gig, right? That's what they're trying to do. So, first of all, don't pay for reviews. It just it's not done. It's You don't have to do it. It looks bad when you do. Um, I know that there are a lot of people trying to make a business out of this who will argue otherwise. There are also scammy agents out there who will argue otherwise. When we put up warnings on Writer Beware, which is supported by SEFWA, there are these scammy agents who, prey on authors in this same way. And they sometimes they borrow names from other agents. And when we put up warnings about them, some of them will go after us, and they will say incredibly threatening, awful, terrible things, and it's like block and ignore, because that is their first and most powerful weapon, is the blathering and cursing, playing on both your sympathy and your fear. They attempt to cozen, intimidate, and I want to say seduce. We could say, a non sexy kind of seduction. They play on your sympathies, or they play on your fears. And that's the thing, is that someone who legit wants to review books, they know that the author's not going to pay them to do it. That's just the mark of legitimacy, because it's you pay for a review, then it's no longer an honest review. And I'm totally in favor of book bloggers finding other ways to monetize what they're doing. They can use affiliate links on their websites. They can accept advertising. There are some, like Paper and Vices. I was on their blog post. We're definitely getting the rays of light there. Like they have merchandising. They have coffee mugs and cute things like that. Um, Everybody is looking for a way to make money doing the thing they love. I don't think that the people who are barraging new authors authors with new releases with text telling them how their family's sick and dying and they need money, and therefore the author must pay them for reviews. I don't think those people are. We need to worry about them. If you feel bad, there are some great organizations that are helping India. Look them up and donate to them. In fact, if you look those things up, then you can be more assured of the legitimacy of them, because they're not coming to you. You're going to that. Does that make sense? So, smearing my lipstick. Ladybug from MAC. Did I tell you guys that already? I sure do love it. It's a shearer lipstick for summertime. And I probably have donut spooge on the corners of my mouth, but that's what you get for the kind of morning I have had. But at least I'm not driving up to Colorado as we speak, so that's good. I'm sitting in my happy grape arbor. We're maybe going to get rain this afternoon. That would be good. So yeah, all is well in my world this morning, and even better, all is well in my mom and stepdad Dave's world. So I'm hoping that they will be feeling better and they can start having some fun. doing the things that they want to do. I put on different earrings this morning since I was not going to do the podcast. I was going to have to like do an apology podcast or something. Uh, but then I swapped them out for ones that are part of Earring Plan 2021. So these are continuing the bling. These are these very simple little, it's sort of a string of rhinestones in an S shape. So off of a single post, and it's fairly short, compared to some of my other bling. And these are very versatile little earrings, and I've had these since college. I would wear these to like sorority dances and stuff. And yeah, they're very fun, and they do well, especially if you're going to be wearing more rhinestones elsewhere. Because you don't want too much. Like if you're wearing the big long blingy things, you don't wear stuff around your neck. But these go nicely if you're wearing some kind of. I have this great rhinestone chain that I love to wear, which now I'm wondering where it is. Probably, I probably know where it is. I should go look for it though, because that was one of my grandmother's pieces of costume jewelry. So flies, 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 flies. All right. I'm going to go get this posted and hook up with Dorinda. And the goal today is to finish the revision of the current pages. And then I can set into finishing. I have, in the course of this revision, added several thousand words. So I'm now at like 80,000 on the book. And I think in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 to go. So, so it's doable. I can do it. And if I had had to go up to Colorado and so forth, I would have worked where I could and then over the weekend and so forth. So, so yeah, join me in the countdown until the 25th. So I'll remind you all that First Cup of Coffee is part of the Frolic Media Podcast Network, and you will find more podcasts that you love at frolic.media/podcasts. I hope that things are going well in your world and that if you've been knocked off your pillow, that you're able to get back on. And deep cleansing breaths. You all take care. Bye bye.